Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next webinar for Microsoft 365. We're going to talk about exploring the natural world using Microsoft 365 tools in the classroom. And I'm just going to start by sharing my screen and going over some of the objectives for what we want to cover today. So, one of those is, let's go ahead and get this up now. Oops, sorry, guys. Here we go. Well, first off, if you weren't at the last webinar, I guess I should start by introducing myself. My name is Dean. I'm a learning technologist with Aspire to Be. Uh, in education for quite a while now, say over 20 years or so, and been teaching internationally, and I've been using Microsoft as well as other platforms that whole time, and it's really great to be able to share some insights with you that I've learned from other teachers and my colleagues. So looking forward to it. What we're going to talk about and we're going to focus on when we say exploring the natural world with Microsoft 365 are the following. We're going to explore the outdoors for lesson ideas. We're not going to all go out together, of course, but I'm going to talk about how we can use it for some inspiration. We're going to talk about creating instant multimedia projects using the photo editor. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And then promoting self-assessment with teams, the rubrics and Microsoft Planner, which is a big part of the 21st century learning design for those of you interested in taking the Microsoft certification exam. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pop off my, let's see, my screen here. And I want to show you first off a finished project that was made using a couple of apps. So Microsoft Photos, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Forms. Okay, so I'm just going to start by showing that first. And let's get this one up here. So now this is called obviously my outdoor learning adventure. I'm going to show you this finished uh, PowerPoint. And then I'm going to go over exactly how it was made by the students. So this is the title page, and none of this was made from scratch. All of this was used by Microsoft AI, which means very little information, or I should say the core information was put in, and then Microsoft gave design elements and also um, just the fonts and everything that you'll see associated with it. And then also talk about with the photos, how that was used with Microsoft Photo AI to create a video. Okay, so this was their title page. And then oops, we have a video that I'm going to let play here. If it comes up. It looks like it doesn't want to play ball. So what I'm going to do is pop out here. Oh, well, we'll get back up in a second. So what I'll do is I'll skip over to forms and then I'll go back to the video. I have it stored somewhere else. What we have here on the last slide, the student has a Microsoft form, which was a quiz that they made. Now, all of this wasn't randomly just created by the student. I'm going to go over in detail how this lesson was introduced, how the students kept track of their work, okay, using the team and class notebook setup that Craig and myself went through in the last webinar, two webinars, and how they came up with this project. Okay, but first, I really want to show you this video. So for some reason, it's showing me a preview, but it's not playing. So I'm going to find it in just a moment. But let's go back to this team here. Okay, so if you remember from the last webinar, we talked about Microsoft Teams. And one of the assignments that I gave out was this outdoor learning project. Okay. Well, I also gave out a rubric on how exactly it's going to be graded for the student. So I'm going to start by this document, which was given to the students, and I'm going to open that up. Now, you'll notice as well that if you weren't here for the Teams webinar, I had a channel just for projects. Okay. Now, the great thing about having a channel just for projects, no matter the platform you're using, if you have a VLE, is that the students know exactly what goes in there and you can get them used to knowing that area is for project information only. So this is where we share that information. Okay, so this is what they were given. Now, all of this is covering uh, lessons and topics that have already been covered in the classroom up to this point. So none of this is new. That's pretty important to remember for this outdoor learning project because we want to have the focus on, yeah, it's going to be fun and we're going to be using some novel ways about demonstrating or learning. But at the same time, we want to make sure that that knowledge is set. So on our Bloom's taxonomy, we've got that knowledge base there. So now we're ready to analyze and see patterns in the natural world and move up and actually create something. Okay. So we've got here the basic rubrics. And of course, there's going to be questions from the students. And the great thing about using this within teams when we share it is we can have a conversation with the students. So any questions here, we just go into conversation mode. Students can ask questions here. We can have that and we can have that discussion. And the great thing again, this can be done either as flipped learning, and if the students are at home, we can introduce it and give it to them the day or two before, and then have that discussion either in class or remotely, okay, at home, and we can have a specific time where we're going to meet up to talk about those things. Okay, so I'm going to close that. And that's how we get the ball rolling. Of course, the students are going to need to make sure they find all the information for those topics that they have in their books, and they're going to find out really quickly if they took enough notes or if they have enough information in their books to do it. The other one is Microsoft Planner. Now, Microsoft Planner is great. Now, I'm going to show you Planner in two ways. I'm going to show you quickly within Teams how we can use it, okay? And then I'm going to show you how students can create their own using a template that you give them. So this was actually created in Microsoft Planner. And if I, as I showed you before in the Teams webinar, I added this as a tab, okay, at the top, okay, as a planner tab. And now the whole school or the whole class can see this planner. So if I click on this, what it has is a to-do list basically. All right. So I've put here based on what they need to do when we go out. Now, I can assign this to different teams if I want to, but what I've done is I've created an incognito window and I've logged in as a classmate, or as a, I should say, student. This is Lisa. Okay, and let's take a look at what Lisa's going to see. So she'll go to projects and she'll see the same view uh, as the other view we just had. And you can see here she has the planner. Okay, now I would not have Lisa go to this. I wouldn't share this tab already. Okay, I'm going to show you why in just a moment. But just to let you know, the students would be able to see these tabs. I would always let the students know that it's going to be in Planner because I've made it. And I'm going to go here to Microsoft Planner, which is easily accessible through your Office 365 dashboard. Now here's Mr. Garza's team. It's connected. So whenever you create a plan, okay, you can create it and make it associated with a team you already have. So when Lisa goes into here, she'll see this. Now this one I created for her already, but she'll go into here, she'll see the task list, and she'll be able to make a copy of this for herself. So she'll be able to copy that task, okay, and put it into her own projects. So she'll have her own copy. The reason why is because if she starts ticking off things here, it will be shown and it'll take off for everybody that has access to that plan. So this way, Lisa has her own, or her team has their own task list to follow. Okay, now let me show you this plan and what's great about Microsoft Planner before I go into detail about the outdoor learning. So first off, we can put different buckets, and these are the columns. You can see that to-do column there, as opposed to, if I click here, it's been completed. We can also share that we're in progress, so I know exactly how Lisa and her team are doing. We've put that priority as important. Okay, I'll let the student say that that's where it needs to stay. We also have a due date, so they're very clear on when that is. Okay, and then we have all of these tasks that need to be done, starting with photos taken, ending with submitting it to me via Teams. Okay, and I even put an image there for them to see an example. The great thing is we can edit these little tabs on the side so they can let me know what they've done just by color coding. So you can see here, this one, that means the photos have been taken. Okay, and there's lots of photos, so they can tick those off one by one, but when they're all done, I can see that visually. They've edited. Okay, all the editing has been finished for everything that they need to do for PowerPoint and photos. They can tick that. They've made their quiz, they've reviewed it, and they've submitted it. So that way I know, and it pops up here instantly. I can see that they've done that, and that helps the students really take control of their learning. Okay, so what do they do with this information? Well, let's take a look back at that project again from the student's point of view. Let's go back over here to where we posted that. So they're going to go outside, and based on all the maths and science topics that we've covered, they're going to demonstrate what they've learned using natural objects. Okay, so the great thing about Windows devices is it has a very underutilized app called the Microsoft Photo Editor. A lot of people talk about Office Lens, which is down here, and it's a great app. A lot of people use it, and in fact, I could do a whole session on that. However, I wanted to talk about one that's very simple to use, just using your camera roll, and it makes life a lot easier, especially for students who need to create something without all the hassle, especially for teachers that want to get it done within the class time frame. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go in here and show you class photos. And you can see here, there's lots of different things. And I'm going to pull that up. There we go. Refresh that. There we are. Okay. So I've got some photos and I've got some videos already up at the top. And you can see I've got some family photos mixed in there as well. I'm going to show you how quick it is to make a video, but then I'm also going to go back and show you the finished one that I promised you earlier that for some reason didn't want to pop into our YouTube, or sorry, our PowerPoint. So once you're in here, now anything you take, any pictures you take with the device, a Windows tablet, or even an iPad, for example, that's linked to OneDrive, will all sync to your school's domain if you have a generic OneDrive. But if you're using an actual Windows devices, it'll automatically sync with the device itself. So if I want to use certain photos and make a quick video presentation, let's say this one, I had one of the topics was our physics investigation of atomic modeling and how elements can be modeled using outdoor objects such as stones and pine cones, and we can even use bits of sticks. Also here we have some different types of rocks for a geology lesson. We've got some leaves, and we talked about chlorophyll and its role in photosynthesis. We've got some sticks here, which could be used for all kinds of different maths lessons. So now I've chosen the different photos that we've gone outside. We've identified what we wanted to make or to do. In this case, you can see here I have a definite finished product. These are not yet, okay? But I want to get started making a video nice and quick. So I'm going to go here to new video. Excuse me. And I can start a new one from blank, or I can go here to automatic video. And what I'm going to do is just give it a quick title. And let's call this OL test, just because I have another one called outdoor learning. Okay. Now that's automatically going to pull all of those pictures. It's going to come up with a theme. It's going to come up with the music. Okay. And it's even going to use that title that I gave it in a creative way, but I'll still be able to edit it. And I'll show you here in just a second. So you can see now it's finished and ready to go. And the one thing you notice is it's not done until I want it to be done. So you can see here, I've got all these options. I'm going to let it play in just a moment. I'm going to press pause on that. But here, automatically, it has a remix. So if I don't like the themes that I see in just a moment or the way it's been edited for me by the AI, I can remix it. Okay. And I can go into edit mode to actually edit it frame by frame. Okay. So let's take a look at what it's done. Okay, so I'm going to pause that. Well, I'm not quite convinced with that theme. I'm going to press remix. It'll automatically change it up. You see here it's changing the music. Okay, give it another go here. This one's a bit more gentle. Okay, let me turn the music down just a bit. All right, so we see that we've got the basics for a video. The students have something ready to go with. However, they haven't really explained what they know or why they've chosen these items from outside when we went out for our nature walk. So here we go to edit video, and this is where we can quickly go in and add information. Okay, frame or picture by picture. We can even add title cards. We can change the music. We can add more photos just in case. This is just maybe day one of the draft. Okay, so for example, I can add a title card here. And if I want to put in some text, I can go in here and say this is outdoor maths. Okay, I can quickly change the theme. Okay, let's see what we've got here. And I can even put it anywhere I want to. Okay, so I can have title. So what I'm going to do is just quickly go through all the options, and then I'm going to get that video up for you so you can see the finished one, because it's not finished there. I'm going to show you how students can use this in presenting to the class, and when they use their Windows devices, how interactive it can still be beyond just the video itself. So we can go into each frame. I can determine how long it wants to be, how long it's going to last for. I can add extra text within the frame. So for example, this might be about reflection or geometry. Okay, I can still pick how I want that to look. I can see which side of the frame I want it to be on. We've also got motion, which means it's going to focus or pan. Okay, and then I've also got 3D effects. I can bring in 3D models from outside. I shouldn't say from outside, it's from the files that Microsoft gives you with the Windows devices. And you can bring those in very easily, as well as other effects. Let's see, so we got that there. And we've got some effects. Those are the effects. This is the 3D library. So just to show you the difference, for example, this campfire would come up and that little bit of fire would pop up. You can see that 3D library, an actual 3D object can be put onto the screen itself. Okay, so I can do this for each and every picture and edit it along with the duration of it. I can even mess around with the filters to see how that would look in terms of how it would affect, I guess, the cinematography of the drama behind the video. But what I want to do is I'm going to go in and show you the finished video that I had in here. Let's get that up for you now. So we can take a look. The reason why is I want to show you not only the finished video, but oh, there we go. That's the first one. But also show you what the students can do when they're presenting this video to the class. Okay. Now, normally this is embedded in, sorry guys, this is embedded in the PowerPoint, but we can still see it here. Okay, so I'm going to pause it right here. So while the students are presenting, they still have lots of different choices here. So this is the video that's within the PowerPoint. Oops, sorry. At this point, I'm going to show you how I can put it into a PowerPoint, and they can stop along the way and have this interaction with the class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the whole video play, and then we're going to pop that into our PowerPoint just a second. Here we go. Okay, so that's the finished video. Now, how do the students get this on their PowerPoint? I'm going to show you that last because we need to correct the one that my student gave me. So I'm going to go back into this PowerPoint. I'm going to create a new slide. I'm going to show you also how easy it is for the student to create something using the design AI design features within Microsoft. So I'm going to go here to insert. Let me close this video first. Okay, go to insert, and we want to go here to video, and I'm using the desktop version of PowerPoint. As you can see, I'm going to get a video from my PC, and I'm going to find the video we just watched, which was here. Okay, and we're going to let that populate there. There we go. Looks like it's trying to do something. I might have broke the internet. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to give that a few seconds, and then I might have to stop it. Let's take a look. I'll tell you what, I'm going to close that down. We're going to open this back up. Okay, let's do that. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's go back into my PowerPoint here. And we're going to wait for that to load. And I think I might have broken everything. So, oh no. I think I broke it. All right, let's stop that one. Okay, I must be due for an update here, or this StreamYard's interfering with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close all these down. As I'm going in through here, let's go back over here. And what I'll do is I'll just use this one and go back and show you what it looks like when you're finished making. Okay, so once I'm done making the video, I have it the way I like. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna actually close that all down, and let's try to get this reopened because there we go. It looks like it wants to work. Oh boy. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go to and we have the video in there that we wanted to make. There we go. And let's take this one there. So we're going to view that. All right. So let's take a look, and we'll as our finished video. Now we can finish that video here. All right. And we can export that video. And once we're done and the student has it the way they want, they can save it. Okay. Now there's the one I just played for you earlier. That's where it's saved, and then you can bring that into any presentation tool that you want, including PowerPoint, or it could be a Word document. It could also even be through a Microsoft Sway, which we mentioned earlier on in our morning webinars. So what I want to do here is try one last time to get that back up for you guys, because I really wanted to show you that. If not, so we'll get an earlier one that I made. Excuse me. Get this one up. Back up here. like it's not showing any of my media here. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to leave it at that then. What I'm going to do is uh, go back to the video that we made and just let you know here that once the students are ready to present this video, they have their finished project. And while they're doing that, while they're presenting it to them, they can also uh, do those in draft form and go back and edit these at any time. So to our team is they can, when you create those assignments, you can actually schedule drafts to, so let's say the Super Sparks team, they're going to have time allotted for feedback on where they are in that project up to that point. So we can have a discussion, and it's just going to be us that talk about it because it is just that team that's able to access this channel. So if you remember, the difference between the private and the public channel is I can make sure this private channel is only accessible to one particular team. So let's say they posted this. This is their project, and we want to have a discussion around it. We can do it the same as before. We can open it up and then have that conversation around what they've done to there. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that. They've had their project and they've turned it in. And maybe we have a discussion around that. And then they can go back and make their edits based on the feedback that they get. So here is their project, which was the one I was showing you earlier. And maybe we can get their video to play here. So here we go. So it looks like it's got a better load here. So just like before, if you remember at the beginning, I shared the rubric with the class. We had that conversation bubble, which is right here. And then we were able to have that discussion. I can do that here with this class. Okay, and they can share with me what they've done. Take a look, see. I hope it plays because I really wanted to show you their great video. Okay, well, I don't think it's meant to be. But the good thing is we can still see that I can give feedback here directly to them, even on their Microsoft quiz that they've made for the class that I showed you guys earlier. So we can have that conversation. I can give them direct feedback right here and let them know what they need going forward. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're almost out of time, so I'm going to stop, which is might be a good thing because it looks like I've broken everything here. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second and let you guys know that if you do want to get a hold of me on Twitter, there's my tag there at DOGTX or DogTX as everybody calls me. Also, if you want to get credit for the webinar today, or if you actually want me to share that finished project with you to take a look at it on your side, go ahead and get a hold of me. And also, just one last thing, there's the web address for the Microsoft Educator community. Okay, and you use that code to get credit for the webinar today, guys. I really enjoyed talking about this with you. And I really hope you really give some thought about using an outdoor venue for your lessons and making Microsoft Teams and Planner a part of that to help students really take control of their learning. Okay. All right, guys. But thank you very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me.